Hey y'all, it's Sarah, the wine-loving bookworm, back with another book and wine review for your Sunday night. Okay, so this will be, I'm gonna take a break next week because my husband and I are going to Vegas. I have never been. If y'all wanna comment on some must-dos in Vegas, we would appreciate it. We're running a half marathon Sunday. So we have that to do, but I'm really excited. So I'm just gonna take the week off. I'm not gonna try to make up the book review and then come back in 2 weeks. So just to let you know. All right, so tonight, let's start with the wine. I am reading a somewhat local author tonight, or I did read a somewhat local author tonight. She used to live in Mount Dora. I think she now lives in St. Petersburg. But so I thought to go along with a local author, I will try a local wine. My mom and I went to the Lakeridge Winery, which is a winery in Claremont, about 40 minutes away from us. We went there on Saturday, and I got their Cabernet. Can you see that? Ooh, Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, they mix this with California grapes. If you don't know much about southern wines, especially Florida wines, they're very sweet. It's a muscadine grape that grows here. So that's a very sweet grape. I don't really like that. So when we went to Lakeridge originally, I'm like, I'm not gonna like any of this wine because it's all sweet. And then I tried this and I'm like, oh, this is good. It's because they mix it with the California stuff. So this isn't really a new thing to me. I've already tried it once, but let's give it a shot and see if I think anything differently. Yeah, that's good. And you know what? I don't really like Cabernet Sauvignons as a rule, especially something like this, because I think this bottle is only $12.99, so that's like a cheap bottle. Usually they're just, I don't know, they're too heavy and they just don't have a great taste to me. But I think because they mix it with the muscadine, it's just perfect. I mean, I love it. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's so light. It's almost more of like a Pinot Noir. So if you are ever in the area, go to Lakeridge Winery in Claremont. If you like sweet wines, you're gonna love this place. But even if you don't, you'll like their mixes. And it's so beautiful out there. They do like jazz festivals. When my mom and I were there last weekend, they had a craft fair kind of going on. Great stuff. So definitely check it out. Okay, so let's move on to the book. This week I read Well Met by DeLuca. And like I said, I knew her when she lived in Mount Dora. She, you know, kind of more acquaintances than anything else. She was in my running group for a while. So when I read she was writing a book, it was just, I was so excited for her. You know, that's so exciting. I would love to one day, and it's my goal, to sit down and write a book. Would love to do that. But so far in my life, that has not happened. So I'm so just excited for my friends that can do that. So I knew I needed to read it. Now, this is a romance, okay? Oh, let me talk about DeLuca for a minute before I get to that. She, obviously, local Florida author. This book's about Renaissance fairs, so if you've never been, I've never been. Some of the stuff will be a little foreign, to say the least, to you. And this is her debut novel, so first time out the gate, and she did a great job. Okay, so I will start with saying I don't read romance novels. I don't, as a rule. I don't like them. I think a lot of times they're trite, and I can't get into them. So when I didn't know what this was when it first came out, and then I was like, oh, I want it, you know, and she signed it for me. Let's see if I can find it. She signed it for me and everything. And then the independent bookstore in town, who I buy all my books from, she's like, well, it's a romance. And I'm like, oh no. I don't like romances. What's gonna happen, you know? So this is way outside my comfort zone. So let's begin. I'll give you a basic plot. Emily is the main protagonist, and the whole book is from her point of view, so it's first person. She went through a very bad breakup, and at the same time, her sister April gets into a horrible car accident that really debilitates her. And her sister April has a high school age daughter named Caitlin. So Emily decides she really has nothing to lose at this point and goes and moves in with April, and helps her it's like over the summer, but is helping her take care of Caitlin, help her with the house stuff, all of that. She has nothing else really to do at this point. So that's kind of the basic scene. And then Caitlin wants to volunteer for the Renaissance Fair that they're doing over the summer. And so Emily takes her to the volunteer day or whatever it is to sign up. And they tell Emily Caitlin has to have an adult volunteer with her in order to volunteer. So Emily's like, for real? Like, exactly what I would think. But she wants to, you know, make her niece happy, so she volunteers. So that's kind of the basic. So it's all set around, you know, the Renaissance Fair and learning the lingo. Like there's this whole beginning part where they're like rehearsing. I never really understood. I've never been to a Renaissance Fair. We literally just had a Renaissance Fair the last 2 weekends in Lake County, where I'm from, here in Florida. And I didn't go. And I really wish I wanted to go. I just couldn't find anybody to go with me, to be honest. And I really wish I would have gone, because I think it would have given me a little bit of insight, a little bit more to this book. So if you're a fan of Renaissance fairs and of romances, oh my God, pick this up. You'll love it. So I didn't know a lot going in, but there is a huge amount of prep that goes into these fairs. They have to learn to speak like, you know, Victorian England, Shakespearean kind of way, if you know what I'm saying. So they pick names, they have to dress in a certain way. There's a lot that goes into this. I found that pretty interesting. So Emily, there's a guy named Simon that runs the fair, and he's sort of a stick in the mud, for lack of it, or I don't want to use more colorful language, I suppose. And so there's this tension between them right off the bat. And so you're like, okay, I'm not trying to spoil this for you, but you know where this is going. They're going to have a little rendezvous later on. Let's just say that. So it's a whole will they or won't they thing through the whole book, but you can pretty much tell where it's going right off the bat. Okay, so I know zip about Renaissance fairs. I did think it was a little, it was like opening my mind up to a different world, learning about this, learning about the language, about the costumes, about how much goes into it. And like I said, I really wish I would have gone to the Renaissance Fair so that I could have, you know, had a little bit more insight on it, but I digress. There were these cool, like, there would be like human chess matches. This stuck out in my mind for some reason. I don't know why. So people would be on the board like a knight, a queen, a king. And then there would be people on the sides calling out moves. So knight to here, whatever. And then when the knight moved to that space, they would kind of, not joust, but they would fight, you know, the character in that space. And then, so, I mean, that was the part where I was like, I'd actually like to see that. It kind of sounded interesting to me. And then they actually had jousting too on horses and things like that. You know, I already told my husband we're going next year. So what worked in the book? Okay, I'm going to talk about Emily in both of these. Emily, I liked her because she's kind of a different character than you would find in other romance novels. She's a potty mouth. Sorry. There's a lot of F-bombs dropped. There's a lot. And like the first chapter like ended with like, this curse. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is cool. Like this is all right. And again, being a Renaissance fair, I knew nothing about it. It was kind of different to me. I felt like it was different. I felt like people who enjoy romance novels would enjoy this. And again, real quick read, you kind of a page turner through parts of it, I would say. What I didn't like, and what I think by reading this book, I realized I don't like about love stories and romance novels, it just seems like the woman is so wrapped up in the man. I posted a quote from Neil Gaiman the other day, who's an author, if you don't know. And he says something like, I like stories where the women save themselves. And I really felt like that is what I don't like about romance novels. Emily, to me, just seemed, sorry, my battery's getting low. I had to hit it there. Emily, to me, just seemed like so wrapped up in what men thought about her. And, you know, her whole, everything seemed to hinge upon that. You know, and she would, you know, overanalyze text messages and overanalyze just things people would say to her. And I'm thinking, women do that, okay? It's actual reality that women do that, but it bothers me that women do that. And so when you see it like on a written page, it bothers me. You know, it's like she didn't feel whole until she was in a relationship, and that bothers me. And I know that that's reality. It's reality for a lot of women, but I think that is what actually bothers me about romance novels and love stories. It just always seems like their entire sense of who they are is wrapped up in a man. You know, and maybe that's the feminist side of me. I don't know. It bothers me. So I loved Emily in a lot of ways, and I didn't love her in a lot of ways. So it was kind of an interesting dichotomy that I, you know, really thought about the whole book. And oh my Lord, okay, this book is steamy. Like I said, I haven't read a romance novel in a long time, and there's literally an entire chapter that is like, not safe for work, okay? What is that? NSFW? Not safe for children to read. I was like, whoa, Jen, go you, because that is some steamy stuff right there. But so who would like it? Again, if you like romance novels and you're into the Renaissance Fair, oh my gosh, this book was made for you. And there's a sequel coming out too, so you'll love it. And if you're not afraid of like I just said, overly sexual scenes and a bit of foul language dropped in here or there, you're gonna love this book. I mean, it's so cute. It's a cute book. I enjoyed reading it. It's not my genre. I'm not gonna lie and say that this is my favorite book of all time. It's not, but it was very cute. So that's what I thought of Well Met. Kind of turned this girl around a little bit. I liked reading it, you know, because it's so outside my comfort zone that it was kind of enjoyable to read it. I literally finished it in like 2 days, I think. I mean, even with working and everything. So Well Met by Jen DeLuca. Definitely if you are a romance fan, especially if you're a romance fan and a Renaissance Fair fan. Okay, so like I said, next weekend I won't be doing a book review, but the week after that, I'm going to do Virgil Wander by Leif Enger. Now, Leif Enger has written other books, and I didn't do a huge dive into him because obviously I'm not reading him tonight. But I know I have other books on my list that he's read, and I may have even read already a book he wrote. I don't know. We'll talk about that next week. But Virgil Wander, it is my book club book for November. We're doing book club later on in the month. It's my book club book for November. So honestly, I just read the back of it. Not a book I would pick up, but we'll see how it goes. So Virgil Wander next week, or 2 weeks, sorry. Well Met, cute little romance novel. Pick it up if you're into that stuff. And yeah, my local author for with some local wine, Lakeridge. I like the Cabernet Sauvignon. They have a red blend, Southern Red, it's called. That is their most popular wine. If you are local to Florida and Central Florida, you can get it in Publix. It actually wasn't as sweet. I don't like sweet wines, but when we tried it on Saturday when I was there with my mom, I'm like, this isn't so bad. So if you like something a little lighter, a little sweeter, go for the Southern Red. If you like something more traditionally, like, this is not like, I don't feel like this is a traditional Cabernet Sauvignon. This is more Pinot Noir tasting. But if you like that, then go with the Cabernet Sauvignon. You like a little bit more California grapes than Muscadine. Cabernet Sauvignon is a good choice for you. Okay, so let's try it one more time before I let you guys go. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will see you in 2 weeks after I get back from Vegas. I'm sure I'll have some stories to tell you then. Cheers.